got just three more. Dick Cox with the next one.
Yes. About you as a person, if South Carolina people do not know a whole lot about Shane Beamer, what's the most important thing you want the fans to know about you as a person?
Great question. I'm a family man. Talked about it earlier. My family is so important to me. They're going to be heavily invested in this program. They're going to be around as much as they're allowed to be. When we get going, you're going to see us in the community. We absolutely love this city and want to be involved in the community. We absolutely love this campus and will be involved in this campus. And I'm a people person, as is my family. So we're going to be heavily involved. I'm a people person that wants to get out and meet with people, and I hope that my genuineness shows. I talked about it. I'm a high energy guy. Love being around people, high energy, positive. Hope to stay consistent, try and treat people right, and just live my life in a way that, you know, my wife and children are proud of me when I come home at night, and I'm proud of myself when I look myself in the mirror before I go to bed, and you know, just try and live your life that way. And I've had a lot of people that have reached out just to say, you know, how happy they are for me, and that it's because of, you know, they appreciate how I treated them when I was there at a school, whether they were a walk-on or a starting quarterback. Man, I just try and be consistent, and everybody's the same in my book, and that's what I'm about. And on a little bit of a lower level, I try to be an athletic guy. I enjoy sports. I love to read, love to learn from other coaches. I love to study leadership. I just ordered President Caslen's book during this interview process and started that as well, and looking forward to continuing to dive into that, and highly recommend that book if you haven't already gotten it on leadership. And as I did my research on I knew a lot about this school, but obviously my research on President Caslen, and then obviously I knew Coach Tanner, but the amount of people that talked about the people in this program and what these guys are about made me more excited about coming back here and looking forward to working with them.
Dick Cox.
Hey, Shane. Congratulations. Welcome back to South Carolina. Two quick questions. First one, do you plan to have your father involved in any capacity in your program? And number two, projected that South Carolina could possibly be invited to play Virginia Tech in a bowl game. What would be your thoughts on that?
Wow. I hadn't heard that. That'd be pretty amazing. Things certainly come full circle, so we'll see what happens with that. And yeah, Coach Tanner and I talked about that with my dad and his role, and obviously we want to do everything within NCAA rules clearly, but Coach Tanner brought that up during the interview process, and without speaking to my dad, I promised Coach Tanner that my dad would certainly be involved heavily in the program. So the minute that, or shortly after that 5.5-hour interview that I had with President Caslen and Coach Tanner and Chance finished, I called my dad and told him how it went. I said, look, I'm sorry, but I may have spoke for you and promised something that I can't get back out of. But no, he's all for it. He loves this place. He enjoyed coming here to visit. When we lived here before, I still rely on him and his expertise to this day. Still call him and ask advice, whether it be X's and O's questions or just football leadership questions. And Lincoln was very accommodating to my dad when he came out to games at Oklahoma, to practices at Oklahoma, allowed him to sit in meetings, and I certainly want him involved in our program as well. I don't know how much it'll be because of me or because he's got 3 grandchildren that'll now be living in Columbia, and then 3 grandchildren that are in Charlotte with my sister. So whatever excuse we got to use to get him down here and the great golf courses in this area, I'm pretty confident that you'll be seeing him a lot around this program. I don't look at it that way. I just see great opportunities and great things in front of me. And the resources here, the way this program is positioned to have success from a resource standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, from the recruiting base around us, from what Coach Tanner and the administration have given me to allow us to be successful, it's exciting. And, you know, I don't see any negatives. I see just so many awesome positives and opportunities in front of us to get out there and go attack. And the support of our former players, the support of the Carolina family, it's special. and it's different. I've coached at so many places in my 21-year career, and this is a unique place in so many amazing ways, and it's why my wife and I wanted to come back here so much because of we know how special it is and what it can be. And that's exciting to see. I mean, the emotions that we felt as a family watching Coach Tanner win a College World Series on television, wishing we were there, to watch Dawn Staley and the success that she's had, Coach Martin in the Final Four run a couple years ago. And then to see the reaction and the love and the passion from the fan base here at Carolina, you want to coach at a place like that has that something special, unique, and we certainly do. And this passionate fan base is second to none, and can't wait to be a part of that. Thank you, Coach Tanner. Thank you, President Caslen. It's an absolute honor to be the head football coach here at the University of South Carolina. Today is an absolute dream come true. Not just to be a head football coach in the Southeastern Conference, but to be the head coach at the University of South Carolina. In my dreams, I wasn't staring at a screen of reporters on Zoom, and we had a big room with my family and so many people in here, so that's a little bit different, but it certainly doesn't take away the excitement of being here in this position. I want to thank President Caslen, Ray Tanner, and Chance Miller for their belief and their faith in me. The interview process was very, very thorough, but I really, really enjoyed connecting with those guys. I told my wife the first time that Coach Tanner and Chance and I talked on the phone, I came home and I just told her, I said, there's something different about those guys, their vision, the way that we connected, the amount of time that we spent together on that phone call, the initial phone call, and then the interview was pretty special. And then having a chance to visit with President Caslen during the interview process as well. The fact that he's a huge football guy, played the game of football, is exciting for me. We are certainly aligned here, and it all starts with those guys at the top. I want to thank Coach Will Muschamp and the contributions he made to this program. Certainly a class individual and somebody that I have a lot of respect for that advanced this program and tried to do it for the right reasons. So I want to thank him for what he did for the University of South Carolina as well. To the former players here at Carolina, Coach Tanner mentioned that I had an opportunity to visit with a group of them this morning. I'm so appreciative for those guys coming by, being able to see old faces, guys I coached like Mo Brown, guys that I coached against like Ryan Brewer, Perry Orr, so many former players that came by to take the time to do that this morning was very, very special to me, and I'm thankful for that. I've heard from so many of them the last couple weeks, and I told my wife when this process was going on that I didn't know how this thing was going to finish. But regardless of what happened, I would have been crushed if this thing didn't happen. But I told her just the amount of former players that I heard from during this time that reached out to me or that I found out reached out to Coach Tanner and our administration to recommend me and jump on the table for me was extremely, extremely humbling. It reaffirmed why I coach. Obviously, Saturdays are important. Wins and losses are what you're judged on, but the opportunity to have an impact on a young man's life and to have a guy like a Marcus Lattimore call me out of the blue and tell me stories of things that I barely remember that he talked about, conversations we had. A guy like a Connor Shaw driving home from work 2 weeks ago and to have Melvin Ingram and Akeem Auguste FaceTime me just to catch up. Patrick DeMarco, Torrey Gurley, I can go on and on and on. Alshon Jeffrey, Stephon Gilmore. I've heard from so many of them over the last couple of weeks, and thank you. Thank you. This is your program. I'm honored to be your head football coach, but this is your program, and you guys laid the groundwork. You are always welcome here, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here. I've been blessed to be able to work for some great head coaches over my career. I've learned so much from all of them and taken a little bit from all of them as well. Starting with George O'Leary, who gave me an opportunity, my first coaching job back in 2000, right after college, when Coach Tanner told you that story. I did. It's a true story. I tried out went to our pro day at Virginia Tech, and I had one pro scout come up to me and say, "You're not serious about this, are you?" And then I had a second one come up to me and said, "What are your plans for next season?" Which obviously coaching or playing pro football wasn't one of them. So I got into coaching pretty quickly. I had an opportunity to work for Coach O'Leary at Georgia Tech. Philip Fulmer hired me and gave me an opportunity to get into the SEC at the University of Tennessee. Sylvester Croom, someone that other than my own family has had more of an impact on me than anyone in this world. A guy that was the first African-American head football coach in the Southeastern Conference and hired me at the age of 26 to come to Starkville, Mississippi and work on his staff for him is something that I'm still trying to repay to him all these years later. Seeing how he handled his program and the way that he built that program at Mississippi State, so thankful for that opportunity. To Steve Spurrier, who gave me an opportunity here in Columbia. If he hadn't hired me back in 2007, probably wouldn't be standing here today. But to be able to come back here with Coach Spurrier and work for him and learn from him and win a lot of football games, thank you, Coach, for that opportunity. To my dad, Frank Beamer, the former head coach at Virginia Tech, it was such a thrill for me. It was hard to leave here, but such a thrill for me to leave South Carolina and go work for my dad at Virginia Tech for 5 years. Thank you for the lessons I learned from you. To Kirby Smart, who hired me at Georgia on his first staff in Athens, a guy that I have an immense amount of respect for. I consider a close personal friend and someone that certainly made me a better football coach in my 2 years with him in Athens. And then finally to Lincoln Riley. My family and I loved living in Athens, Georgia. Had a great time. We were winning football games. But when the 10th assistant coach rule came into effect in college football, Lincoln Riley reached out to me. And there's not a program in all of college football that I would have left to go be an assistant coach at other than the University of Oklahoma. And that was because of Lincoln Riley. I felt like I'd done a lot in my career. I had a lot of different roles. But the opportunity to go to learn from Lincoln and learn the offensive system at Oklahoma and how we do things for my family and I to get out of our comfort zone a little bit was an opportunity I didn't feel like I could pass up. And I've grown so much as a coach in the 3 years out there at Oklahoma. Not only have I learned a lot from a football standpoint, I gained a very personal, close personal friend. He and his wife, Caitlin, are phenomenal people. He's been a huge help to me throughout this process, answering questions, willing to work with me throughout this process and helping me learn how to be a head coach by watching him each and every day. And then the president, Joe Harris, the president at the University of Oklahoma, and Joe Castiglione, the athletic director at Oklahoma. Thank you for the time that you've spent with me. I've had multiple lunches with Joe Castiglione where he's allowed me to pick his brain and ask questions, and he's considered one of the finest athletic directors in the country, and to be able to learn from him has been really, really special. I want to thank the Oklahoma players. I wouldn't be here in this position without you guys. I've got 600 plus text messages on my cell phone right now from people congratulating me